All right, welcome back to Scavenger Workshop. We're going to do a little paint tutorial here. So I'm going to show you two different techniques. One, I'm going to show you how to get that paint chipping effect. And then the second thing I'm going to show you guys is how to make something appear like it's been rubbed to the point where you're seeing the under metal underneath the paint. Okay, so here's what you're going to need. You're going to need something called liquid latex. Okay, it's a type of masking fluid, and you're going to need some of this metallic silver paint. Both of these can be found at Michael's, and you're going to need some paintbrushes. Now, if you use the paintbrushes, make sure you get some cheap paintbrushes, because you cannot get this stuff off the paintbrush without using some harsh chemicals like a paint thinner or something like that. So don't use your good paintbrushes. So the first thing we're going to do, now this liquid latex, you can find this stuff. They usually sell an applicator with it that has like a small syringe on the end, so that way you can kind of guide it, but I couldn't find one, so I'm just going to use some toothpicks to add the effect that I want. All right, so I have this piece of scrap print that didn't turn out too well, so I'm just going to use that. So what I want to do is first you want to sand it, make sure there's no print lines. Of course, you can see some stuff. It's all messed up. I left it out in the heat, and you got all these little honeycomb patterns on here, which I'm not going to be able to get rid of, so I'm just going to toss this when I'm done. So what I want to do is get a toothpick, dip it in here, and then just along these edges put this masking fluid down like this. So, you know, just wherever you think paint would be chipping, or wherever you want the chipping effect to be. Okay, so, and then you can also put it in big spots like this, where the paint may have came off, and kind of give it a random pattern when you do it. But ideally along edges is where you're going to see most of your paint loss from the chipping, because that's where things are going to get banged, you know. A lot of hard areas going to get hit. So I'm going to add this a little bit in different areas. And like I said, it doesn't. You can make it very subtle. I'm just doing enough areas so that way you guys get the idea on how, you know, it's gonna look once you're done. All right. So once you're done adding your liquid latex for your chipped areas, you're going to go ahead and let the latex dry, and then paint it with your topmost color. In this particular situation, it's going to be beige. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here, come back once it's painted, and then I'll show you how to add the metal brushed look. We are back. So I sprayed it. I tested a few little spots. The paint was a little wet still, so it kind of smudged a little bit. But ideally, if you let it completely dry, you should be able to peel this stuff away without smudging it, like that, and it'll give it that chipped paint look, right there, right? And I had some on the edges here. I'm rushing this a little bit. I should have probably let it completely dry, but we're just going to move forward with this. So once you've done that, get your metallic silver and your small brush. And make sure you have a napkin. So what you're going to want to do is dip your brush into the metallic paint. You're not going to want to paint immediately. Take your brush and try and remove as much of the paint off of it as possible on that paper, all right? And then once it's pretty dry, then you're going to want to start at the center of your area and just do a circular motion outwards, so that way the center is brighter and it starts getting a little faded as you get closer to the edge of the chipped area. Right? Now, as you can see, it's starting to look like, you know, when, you know, someone's polishing it, it starts to wear in that one little area, and you can see the metal shining through. So, get a little bit more paint on my brush. And clear it. And then start on the next one. On these edges too. Get all these little things. Just, you want to always start in the center and then work your way out so it kind of fades a little bit. And that's going to give it that, you know, that worn area look, right? So another thing I like to do on some darker objects, on these hard edges, I'll just get the metallic silver on there, and I'll follow along the edge like this. Now that looks like something sheared up against it and just shaved it right off, the paint completely off. This is more of a worn area. That's more of the paint got sheared off once it made contact with something else.